Oh, I didn't put the mic on. I think I'm wild up enough now. Whoa! Just got back from the No Kings protest. Oh my god, one sec. Alright, I had to give the cats little lickables. I was gone all day. Well, it's almost 3 o'clock, and I left about 10 this morning. But as soon as it broke up, we came home. But woo! Okay, it was the last time. I think it was April 5th. They didn't have it in Morristown on the 19th of April, but they did on the 5th. That was like one of the first national ones. There was about 1,000 people that time. Want to take a guess on how many were there? They estimated 4,000. Just in Morristown, New Jersey. And girl, I got some great pictures and videos of some great signs. Mikey Sherrill, well, Mikey Sherrill spoke, and we had messages from Kim and Booker too. I never needed to use my megaphone because they had a speaker system. They had speakers. We had all kinds of different things. It wasn't just everybody stand around, everybody protest type of thing. And they closed off that street over there by the 200 South Street. And so people were in the streets. And we were just plastered. The sidewalk, all the lawn in front of the hotel, the street, on the sidewalk on the other side. 4,000. I mean, I'll be posting it. I'm gonna get something to eat because I didn't eat before I left. I didn't want to have to go run to the bathroom somewhere. I know they had some porta johns, I think, set up because they're closed on Saturdays, everything. But I didn't want to leave where I was. But I had a lot of people asking, not just pictures for the signs that I had set up around, because I had like a dozen signs. Now the rain did, even all the precautions, the base paint, because it's acrylics, that now it did eventually, because we were out there from 10:30. It started at 11. So she finished up in the car, and I wanted to get out because I wanted to get a spot that I would be able to put up. I had like 3 standing up signs. You'll see. And I was flipping them over because all the signs other than the sandy ones had 2 sides. But it was a lot of rain, even though it was just light most of the time. It was enough, constant. My signs didn't really warp much because I have them spray gloss, but I got some of them. I was getting orange and blue paint. It wasn't my hair. I'm like, my hair shouldn't be from that. It's from the signs. But they didn't mess up the signs. It was just like a smear. So I'm like, wiped it off on the scarf I brought. And once they dry, careful when I put them against each other so they wouldn't. And once they dry, let them all dry out thoroughly. If I have to do any touch-ups, and then I'll just do another gloss coat, and we'll be fine for the next ones. That's why I took so much pains making them. I've been painting for over 6 weeks. Besides, people loved them. They all took pictures. Even the gal who, she had Mikey Sherrill on her shirt. She was like she took pictures of my signs. Some groups, what was it? Dems for Wharton? I'll have to look. But even after they were packed up, some of the big signs, the tall signs, were poking out of the bag, and I'm rolling them with the walker. And like twice, people were like, well, we were trying to meet her up at the car, and they're like, can we take pictures? It was one. You'll see the picture. You'll see the videos and the photos. I'll put in the, comment, the post area. And I'll put them on the groups in Facebook and such. But on one of them, it's like hands off, and then I list a bunch of stuff, housing, and I wrote genitals in bright pink. And she said something else. She goes, "I like that." I was like, "Yeah, right. Keep your." I said, "That's what caught your attention, is it? Because it's bright pink and it was genitals." She goes, "It," and her daughter was like, "Yes, yes, that's what did it." I was like, "Yeah, and I said, you notice the cheater is real bright?" She goes, "Yeah, I did." Um, it was a good time. I never even used my microphone. It was a lot of fun. And as you can see, as far as me, I get energized by them. We didn't get any honking because they had the road closed off. Um, and at first, I was talking to my pro my protest buddy on the way home. I said at first I was like, at least at the last protest in West Caldwell, when cars went by, there was honking a lot. 98% was like for us. And I was like, because that energizes the protesters, and because at that one we didn't have anybody speaking or anything like that. Here is a different story. We had people speaking. Oh, Kim. Was it Kim? Who was it? There was somebody else there. I'm trying to remember everybody that was there. And he repeated the oath of office that they take, and we repeated it. Like, how they do the wedding vows, and they say a phrase and you repeat. We did that. I don't even know if I got that on video because I was involved with it. But I'm one of those that I'm in the moment, and so I don't catch everything on photo or video, because part of it is I want to be in the moment. Of course, they mentioned the boss, Bruce. That was how they ended it out. When they finally started playing the songs, everybody started packing it up. Cops were there as it got smaller and smaller, and they started coming down from the different sides. I was kind of in the middle area, apparently, because people started setting up right in front of it and then added on to the other ends. And I did thank the cops, because they had mentioned oaths and stuff like that. And I know it was a little way to mention to the officers there, remember, your oath is to the country and the citizens, not to a party and not to one person, even if it is the president. So I did, as I was packing up my signs, and, because I had more than one, as I said. I did. The cops came, and I did. I said, "Thank you so much for being the way cops are supposed to be, civil." He said, "As long as there's no unrest, as long as there's peaceful," that's what he said. He goes, "As long as it's peaceful." I said, "No, I appreciate that, because I'm sure you're aware." I said, "I'm sure you're aware that despite that being the rule, some officers in some states are not doing that, and they've made it clear. They'll just run you over." And he goes, "I know." I said, "So I just want to thank you for the Jersey officers knowing who the oath that they took was to. Thank you for remembering that, because not all not all cops in all states have remembered that." And he says, "You're welcome." That's when I said, I worked in Arizona. I was out there 32 years, and I worked in the prisons as an officer. I said, so, we got de-escalation, so I kind of knew what to look for, but I didn't see anything, and I was very pleased. He goes, "Nope, nobody did." I said, and we yelled back, and there were times when they were talking, one of us would be like, "Amen," or "That, no way," or, something like that. But we were peaceful. 4,000 of us in the fucking rain. Because Jersey shows up. It ain't frickin' fire. It ain't lava. It's frickin' rain. Um, so I'm gonna go take a break. Um, try to calm down a little bit. I know I get very energized. I had some really good conversations with several people, a few women, a few men. Um, it was really good to get out and and I had some people that worked in like little magazine, local stuff and writers and things like that. And one fellow was like, "Do you mind if I put this in?" I was like, "No, that's fine. Go for it. That's good." I hate how I look on video and pictures, and I really always have very, very few photos of me do I think, oh, that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. I look okay at that. And you're gonna be like, Judy, you make videos. What do you mean? Well, yeah, I had to get over that and just ignore it. It's not like I'm okay anymore with it, but it's not my appearance that matters. It's my attitude. It's my thoughts. It's my emotion. That's what matters. Not if I look if I don't think I look good. That's not the point. I'm not doing it so I could be admired. I'm doing it because someone has to. Some of us have to. That's why I do it. And the only way to get that message across is for them to see you as you say it. So you're either going to shit or get off the pot. So I I had to. Um, but I said something to him about. I said, "Yeah, I can't take any more video. I've done. I had 43% storage and it's gone until I upload this stuff." And he says, "Oh, where are you gonna post it?" I was like, "Oh, I have a chat. It's small. It's like just under 600." But he goes, "Really?" He goes, "Give me the name of it. Let me write." He goes, "Give me the name of it. I'll I'll subscribe. I'll check it out. I'll give a subscribe." I was like, "Okay, I'm just letting you know. It's sometimes I'm pretty pretty straightforward." Like, fuck you, Nancy Mays. You're an attention whore. Shut up and sit down and get help for your bathroom fetish. And when I would say that, I said that we two different people had a conversation with that came to the videos and what you're doing with them and stuff. And both the woman, when I said, I was like, F you, Nancy Mays. You're just jealous because Sarah McBride's a better looking woman than you are. And the woman just busted up laughing. She goes, "Oh my God, you do say it's straightforward." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "But, people have said that's what we really need." She goes, "Well, we really do. We really do need people just to say it." I was like, "Well, I am the one that'll just say it." Someone has to. Trying my pride flag out. Halfway through, I had it on my walker, and I was kind of like sitting on it with it draped over, and so it didn't fly away because there wasn't any really room with so many people to put it up somewhere. I brought twine and tape, but so partway through, I just didn't want to keep sitting on it, and so I did one of these things. And all I did, if you ever want to drape yourself in the flag, actually I used the other. The purple was up by my face. You don't have to even tie, because I was just going to do like a tie thing like that. But just to keep the rain at least off, But all I did was I took the one corner. Perfect, works for draping. Took the one corner, put it in the grommet of the one edge, pull it through a little bit, and then just tie a quick little, because it won't slip because of the material of it, And then it's an improvised drink, right? And with the hair, it was like, ah! We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Um, I'll show you. There was some amazing signage. Amazing. And there was two gals. This was awesome. One had like a flag, some other sign about, democracy type thing. And I saw so many. But who was standing next to her? Very slim, small, gal. She was wearing like a white t-shirt, like a sleeveless type of thing, but on top of it was like a little gray sweaty type thing. And she had it open, and like right here on the thing, it says Trump's boss. And she had a mask that you can make. She probably used it out of that that board that's not poster board, but it's a little thicker. And it was about this big on her face. It was just a big round, blew up a picture of Putin's face and attached it to, like a mask thing, like kind of like I did with the picture frame, stand-up signs. Other people improvised too. One gal taped to hold this sign like this, made tape handles. Smart. Kind of like the sign I showed you where I used the handles for. But yeah, so you turn around and she's standing there in this like pants and this white shirt that says Trump's boss. And the thing was literally this big on her face. And you could see, there was no eye holes, but it was thin enough, the paper on the base board. It was perfect. She didn't have it on all the time, obviously. But man, I was like, I gotta get a picture of you too. I was like, that was perfect. Then somebody walked down, probably going to get something to drink or something. One person had a 3x5 foot flag, and that was behind a person who had a sign, the kind that was like on a stick, so it would be up high. And it must have been a crown, literally. They made it out of one of those boards. Those fiber Philly kind of boards that you get at the Dollar Tree next to the poster boards, because it was like big and it was cut out like a crown. And on some of mine I used glitter and color and stuff, and it was like colored like a crown with like sapphires and rubies and glitter and stuff, and it was huge. And it said something about crowns are for clowns or something like that, and they flagged it. There was just some really clever things. Yeah, and some of my signs, people were like, oh, I like that. So, and they were surprised. I'm like, yeah, most of the signs, unless they're the stand-up type, they have two sides. They're like, they do? I was like, yeah, that was two different things. They're like, oh, cool. So, that was very, very cool. I really want to know, anybody that was in any other, if you were at a protest today, how many, and they were super orderly. I mean, super orderly. It didn't even sound like 4,000. Now, when we were, like when they'd say when human rights are under attack, we'd be like, stand up, fight back. But other than then, even just the milling about while we're listening and stuff, you're talking to people while they're, just, even that was a dull, it wasn't super loud or anything like that. It was I was pleasantly surprised that there was 4,000 and that it was so orderly. And even the disassembling afterwards. I mean, people were everybody was like, there was no jostling, there was no traffic jam or people jam on the sidewalks, it was fun! Because you didn't have all those stressors. And I'm really curious if you guys, if any of you went to a protest, did you experience the same thing? Did you have agitators or anything? Because if we did, we didn't hear them. I mean, I don't think we did. Um, because like when I talked to one of the police later, I asked him. I told you I thanked him for obeying his oath to the country and to the citizens, and not just to a person or an office or a party. That you remembered your oath you took. And he says, as long as there's peaceful, as he says, as long as you guys are peaceful, we have no problem. I said, because it's free speech. He goes, it is free speech. I said, well, thank you. And he was like, because we had talked, and I said something about, well, I learned about what to look for, because I said I worked in a prison for a decade, so in Arizona. So I said, so you kind of get used to like picking out when you hear something wrong, like a raised voice or a sound to a voice or something. I said, so, and I didn't hear anything. So he goes, no, it was nothing. It was like a right jersey. And he said, thank you for your service. I was like, well, thank you for yours. Because I don't know how many of you know it. It was surprising to me when I got into the academy. But they consider corrections as law enforcement. I mean, there's police officers, there's border patrol, and like the firemen kind of are in the law enforcement circles. Like if they have group checks, police and EMTs and nurses usually have a lot of interaction with each other, just because of the nature of their jobs intersect. And they do call that a law enforcement, job, a service. Because the first time a veteran had said something like, thank you for your corrections service, I was like, I was just a corrections officer. I wasn't a cop. Because, and that's when he said, yes, but you're still doing a job that a lot of people don't want to do, and your life is in risk, and it is in a law enforcement field. I'm like, that was long time ago, and I was like, I guess you're right. You're correct. Because they are paramilitary, but I never equated it to, oh, I'm a cop. Even though the inmates call you either CO for correction officer or the cops are coming. That would, when I heard an inmate say something about the cops, afterwards I went to my training officer and I was like, the cops were here? He goes, he was talking about us. I'm like, he goes, we're the cops here. I'm like, oh, it was me. He was, okay. I wasn't prepared to be referred to as a cop, but okay. Yeah, I'm like, but I didn't train I did train on the same stuff they train on. Okay. Yeah, it was kind of like a, really? Who knew? But I mean, thinking about it now, yeah, it makes sense. You're like, ah! Okay, I'm gonna cut this short. I'm gonna get something to eat. Gotta answer whoever the heck this is. Heat up some ribs I have. And then, once that's done and my fingers are not all sauced out, I'll start with the videos. I'm excited. I really am excited. I don't know what I got because it was hard to see. We'll find out together. I don't think I got that. I think with them when they were doing the oath, I think I was more in the moment repeating the oath, and I totally dropped the ball. I don't think afterwards. I'm like, when it was halfway through, I'm like, I should have taped it. So I will see you in a little bit, guys. Let me know if you went to a protest. How'd it go? There are some places in Jersey that were doing a pride event at a, like down the street from where the protest is. And I so wanted to go because I'm not in the community, but I am an ally. My, kids and stuff that trans, but I mean, come on. I'm totally ready for the pride event too. Thank you. use of this hair, people. um, I am so pleased with how it went. And it looked like such a small area to pack 4,000 people into it. They quadrupled what Morristown's last protest had. There were about 1,000 maybe there. 4,000. Micah Sherrill was the one that she says, well, you know, the officers have been estimating, and it seems that we're probably around 4,000 people here today. Like, everybody went, ah! It was awesome. Okay, let me go.